Howdy, Mama Jess here. I love hats. I wear hats year-round. I know that farmers and homesteaders know what I'm talking about. You have to have a hat on your head for all functional purposes. Whether you're keeping the sunshine off your head, or whether you're keeping the rain off your head, or if you have to milk a cow and you've got that whipping tail just constantly switching at you and wants to whip right in your eyeball. So you have to have a good functioning hat, and you absolutely have to be able to keep it on your head. So when I got this hat, there was no chin strap, and I didn't know where to get them. I didn't know what to do, and so I inquired with Ross at the leather store in Santa Cruz, and he gave me a genius little trick. What I love about it is that you don't have to use this. I don't know anybody who even knows what these are called. What are they? We know that they're usually here, chin strap kind of thing. But where do you get it? How many do you have to buy? Can you just buy one? Or should you buy two because you might lose it? But what I don't like about things like this, and this is why I prefer working with knots rather than ratchet straps, is I don't like any extra moving parts in a system. Because the more moving parts, the more likelihood you're going to have a blowout somewhere. Something's going to break. And when something's made of plastic, it's just junky. Who wants to have any more plastic in their life than we already do? So I'm not going to use this, and I'm going to show you what Ross showed me here, because this is absolutely marvelous. And I really don't know how you can function without a hat, with a strap, right? Unless it's just kind of like a fancy hat and you're going out on the town. But if you're going to be functional, you got to make sure you know how to make this strap. So I'm going to show you how to do it right now. All right, this is the first step. You want to take a piece of chalk, and I'm going to feel it. Most everything I do is with feeling. Okay, so I'm thinking, where would I like that strap? Like here? No. Behind my ear? No. So I want it to run right along my ear, right here, right in front of my ear. Okay, so I'm going to take this chalk. I'm going to come up, and I've got to make sure it's seated properly on your head. You don't want it cockeyed or anything. And don't worry about where the tag is. It's really disturbing the more you learn about present day manufacturing of garments and hats and things. There's so many errors, you can't even believe it. Like, no one took the time to align this and make it, nice. So don't go by the manufacturer's, idea of equidistant and symmetry. Like, don't do it. Go by how it feels on your head. That feels nice and straight, okay? So again, I'm coming up right on the inside of my ear, but also, like, I want it to be aligned with my jawbone right here. So I'm taking that chalk and I'm bringing up in front of my ear all the way to that rim of the brim, okay? I'll do that on both sides, right behind my jawbone and up in front of my ear, and make that mark. Then, once you see you got a good alignment there, you're gonna use an awl, A-W-L, okay? Or it's called, old school, called a stiletto, or people call it an ice pick. So we see the circumference here of the rim. Right where there's that bend between the brim and the top of the hat, okay, there's this edge, okay? And we're just gonna punch it right through there. Okay, as close, like you might have this little inside piece. So I'm not going through that piece, but I'm just right on the edge. Punch right through, and you can see where it's coming out. Okay, just like that. And try to open it up a little bit to make space for that leather lace to go in. All right. So leather lace, where do you get it? You can order it online, unless you're lucky enough to have a leather store in town. But I got this in the Santa Cruz leather shop. And it doesn't matter if it's aligned yet. Sometimes I like to get it, equal sides, but now I'm just gonna fish it in. And I'm gonna struggle here while I'm on this video with you, because that's usually how it works. And it's good to watch someone struggle to see how real life is. Okay. Okay, here we go. And I like to have that lace run in the front. Then once I put it on my head, now I can work with the, see where it's balanced. I'll pull it on this side a little bit. Still not straight. Like, our bodies are so incredible at calibrating things for balance. So you really can trust, like, I got it straight up like that, okay? Now I'm gonna show you how to make this. This is, just take a look at it, okay? Now, I didn't have a large leather punch that's a U shape. And if you have that punch, you can punch both sides with a U and create an oval. And that's what you're going for, okay? And you can see then how I punched punched two holes. They're probably about 1/4 inch apart, all right? And you have to make sure that that hole is not too small or too big, because you actually want to have friction when this leather is pulling through. You want it to kind of bind and be a little bit tight, a little snug, okay? So rather than using a U punch, which would have been pretty great, I just traced what I kind of eyeballed an oval shape that I liked. And I'd say this is kind of a fat 1 inch. So it's not super big, okay? I mean, if you made it super big, it would be kind of funny looking. So just a little one like that works good. So before I begin to show you how to punch the holes, I want to show you the leather that I chose. This is a piece of buffalo, and the measurement of it is 3/16. So it's a little bit fatter than 1/8 of an inch and just shy of 1/4 of an inch. I wanted it to be a little bit thicker for stability. I have never tried it with a super thin piece of suede or other leather. You could certainly use bull or cowhide. But you'll be able to tell if it's something that's going to have the integrity that you need. If it's too flimsy, I don't know if it will work. It might be annoying and bind up, but this is the one I chose. And then also, you want your lace to be 1/8 of an inch. Okay, anything bigger than that I think would be unnecessary. Right, now you can see my tools up close. Of course, I'm always using the finest, most expensive gingers because they're sharp and they cut leather very well. This is a leather punch, and it has various size diameter holes. And this is the one that I've chosen. If for some reason I feel like this is not gonna cut it, then I will increase the diameter size. But I always wanna start a little bit small and then I'll go bigger, okay? Because once you cut out that material, you can't go back. So you could eyeball your shape, your oval shape, or like I have these scissors, I looked at them, I'm like, well, doggone it, that kind of looks like an oval shape. So you can kind of create that yourself. You can also utilize something sharp like this to scribe on it, okay? And you always want to utilize as much leather as you can, all right? So you don't want to like cut it right out in the center because that's going to waste the leather. So I actually probably should do it right as close to this edge as I can. Okay, this will be my scribe. Now, by the look of it, I can already see it's a little bit bigger than I want. And I'm not going to cut it out because I already have one. I'm just showing you for illustration's sake. Here, I'm going to cut this out. Whack-a, 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 whack-a-do. And it's going to look like this, all right? Now, imagine that there are no holes in this, okay? You cannot punch on your ironing board. And you don't want to punch on wood. You don't want to punch on metal. You want to either use a plastic cutting board like those white ones or something like this, okay? You can see all the little holes that penetrated just slightly. But this is best because you don't want to dole out your punch, okay? Because it is a type of a blade. I can't hammer it on this ironing board table. So I have to get down on the ground and I'm going to kind of eyeball my marks, okay? I want them to be centered, 1/4 inch apart, roughly. Okay, then I'm going to align it. Imagine I'm on the ground right now. And bam, 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 okay? You want to make sure that that hole is completely punched out, and then bam, 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 and it is open. We'll make sure that it's open enough here. Okay, and that's all to that. All right, so we have cut out our oval. We've punched 2 holes, not too big because we want to make sure we've got some friction. Now I've got my hat. You want to make sure these are aligned. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, I like to have this soft suede up against my chin. So I'm going to fish that in there. If you're having a hard time fishing it in, you can use your awl, push it in. Alrighty. Sometimes it's hard. Let's say I wasn't able to get that through. You can use pliers to grab and pull, okay? Also, another trick, you can make a point, okay, which will allow the leather to fish through much easier, okay? See how I can now grab that little tag there and pull. I don't know why I didn't do that when I first did this, but that's that. Now I'm going to create just an overhand knot down here so that I'm not going to lose my little chin strap. Okay, something like that. Okay. Okay, we're gonna test it now. That feels nice and balanced. That's good. Just imagine the wind's really high. Okay, it's not gonna come off. All right. This is one of the most, like my most favorite things I've ever learned. I've learned so many things, but there's something about the simplicity and the functionality, and that just anyone can make this, and it is so useful for everyday life. So I hope that you enjoy this as much as me. Have a great day, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.